What if I told you that something the size of Manhattan is currently racing toward our solar system, not from the asteroid belt, not from the outer edges of Pluto, but from another star entirely? And what if I told you that some scientists whisper about the possibility that it may not be a simple comet at all, but an alien visitor hiding in plain sight? In December, astronomers expect a colossal interstellar object known as 3I Atlas to pass near Earth. This is no ordinary comet. At an estimated 5 kilometers wide, it dwarfs most of the space rocks we've ever tracked. To put that in perspective, it's about the size of the entire island of Manhattan, moving silently across the abyss of interstellar space. Its sheer scale alone makes it extraordinary. But what really has scientists both fascinated and uneasy is this. 3 Atlas does not come from our solar system. It was born in another star's nursery billions of years ago, and after traveling across unimaginable distances, it's about to swing past our sun, a true alien visitor. The predecessors, Oumuamua and Borisov. This isn't the first time we've had visitors from the stars. In 2017, the world was stunned by the arrival of Oumuamua, a strange cigar, or maybe pancake-shaped object that baffled astronomers. Unlike any comet or asteroid we had ever seen, it sped up as if pushed by an invisible hand. Some said it was natural. Others, like Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, argued it could be alien technology, a solar sail drifting across galaxies. The debate was fierce, but the mystery was never solved. Then, in 2019, came Borisov, another interstellar object, this time looking more like a traditional comet, though still undeniably foreign. Now comes 3 Atlas, bigger, darker, stranger than them all. And with it comes a question humanity cannot shake. What exactly is heading our way? The alien suspicion, Atlas behaves oddly. Unlike normal comets that release massive amounts of water vapor when heated by the sun, Atlas seems to release mostly carbon dioxide gas. That simple fact may not sound dramatic, but to astronomers it's a massive red flag. It means this object likely formed in conditions utterly alien to our solar system, in a disk of material around another star where carbon ruled over water. In other words, Atlas carries a chemical fingerprint from a place we've never seen, a world we may never reach. And here's where the imagination takes over. Some ask, could Atlas be more than a natural rock? Could it be cloaked technology, wrapped in an icy shell to disguise its true purpose? Think about it. If Earth has already sent out its Voyager probes carrying messages into the galaxy, why wouldn't another civilization do the same? What if this is their Voyager, and we just happen to be in its path? Why now? The growing pattern. Here's something else to consider. Before 2017, we had never identified a single interstellar object. Then suddenly, within just a few years, we have 3. Oumuamua, Borisov, and now Atlas. Astronomers insist it's because our technology has improved. But others wonder, is this really just coincidence? Or is our solar system being deliberately visited? The idea is bold, even controversial, but the pattern is undeniable. The universe seems to be sending us more messages than ever before. Scientists preparing to study Atlas with every tool we have. Ground telescopes, the Hubble, and even the James Webb Space Telescope. By analyzing its light, its gases, and its tail, they hope to confirm what it really is. But no matter what data we gather, the shadow of speculation lingers. After all, Oumuamua's mystery has never been solved. And if one interstellar object can defy explanation, why not another? Even among cautious scientists, there is a recognition of something profound. Atlas is carrying alien material. Not aliens themselves, perhaps, but alien chemistry, alien ice, alien dust. It is literally a frozen sample from another solar system delivered straight to ours. If panspermia, the theory that life spreads across the universe on comets, is correct, then Atlas could even be carrying the building blocks of life from another world. Imagine this, a chunk of ice and rock older than Earth itself, hurtling silently through the void. On its surface, molecules frozen for billions of years, untouched since the dawn of another solar system. In its core, secrets of worlds we will never walk upon. And as it swings past our sun this December, we will have a brief window, a few weeks at most, to capture its story. If we fail, it will vanish forever into the dark, taking its mysteries with it. And what if, just what if, those mysteries aren't natural? What if it's not just chemistry and rock? What if, buried inside, there's a signal, a design, a machine? Would we even recognize it? Or would we dismiss it, just as some dismissed Oumuamua, and miss our chance to discover that we are not alone? So as December approaches, the world waits. Astronomers prepare their instruments, theories swirl, skeptics argue, dreamers imagine. And somewhere out there in the cold silence of space, 3I Atlas keeps coming. Is it a natural comet carrying alien ice? Is it a messenger from a distant star? Or is it something far beyond our current understanding, an intentional visitor cloaked in mystery? One thing is certain. When the Manhattan-sized wanderer sweeps past our sun, humanity will once again be faced with the most haunting question of all. Are we truly alone? Or have we just been noticed? NASA has already stated that 3I Atlas, the interstellar object expected to pass through our solar system in December, is most likely a natural comet rather than an alien craft. But history teaches us that even the most brilliant institutions, NASA included, have been proven wrong multiple times when confronting the unknown. NASA, for all of its brilliance and groundbreaking achievements, has never been immune to error. And history shows that even the most advanced space agency in the world has had to rewrite its own narratives time and time again. Take Mars, for instance. For much of the 20th century, NASA scientists and astronomers believed the red planet to be a barren, desert-like wasteland, utterly devoid of water. Early mission planning reflected this assumption, and textbooks confidently taught that Mars was dry and lifeless. Yet over the decades, NASA's own orbiters and rovers, beginning with Mariner 9 in 1971, and later missions like Mars Odyssey and Curiosity, revealed unmistakable evidence of dried riverbeds, vast floodplains, and even recurring seasonal streaks suggesting briny water flows. What was once declared impossible turned out to be undeniable. Mars had a watery past and may still hold underground reserves today. That wasn't a small correction, but a monumental shift in how humanity viewed our nearest planetary neighbor, reminding us how fragile scientific certainty can be. A similar revelation came with Jupiter's moon Io. For centuries it was assumed moons were geologically dead, lifeless spheres orbiting their planets like silent stones. Yet in 1979, NASA's Voyager 1 shocked the world by capturing images of volcanic eruptions blasting molten sulfur into space, making Io the most volcanically active body in the solar system. This discovery flipped an entire paradigm on its head. Another humbling mistake came from the moon itself. For decades after the Apollo missions, NASA maintained that the lunar surface was bone dry. Generations of scientists and textbooks insisted there was no water on the moon. Yet later missions, including NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and India's Chandrayaan-1, revealed vast deposits of water ice hiding in permanently shadowed craters at the poles. What was once dismissed as fantasy is now central to NASA's plans for colonization and deep space exploration. Even outside planetary science, NASA's record reveals missteps that led to dramatic rethinking. In its early days, the agency underestimated the severity of cosmic radiation and the dangers of the Van Allen radiation belts. At first, many believed spacecraft could easily pass through these zones without much risk, only for subsequent missions to prove how dangerous and complex these regions truly were, forcing adjustments in shielding and flight trajectories. Likewise, in the 1990s, NASA was compelled to correct one of the most fundamental measurements of all: the age of the universe. Before the Hubble Space Telescope delivered more precise data, many astronomers, and NASA's own models, suggested the universe might be as young as 10 billion years. But Hubble's observations of Cepheid variable stars extended that age to nearly 13.7 billion years, a colossal revision that reshaped our understanding of cosmic history. Even Pluto stands as a reminder of NASA's shifting knowledge. For decades it was celebrated as the ninth planet, taught in schools and included in mission planning as one of the solar system's primary worlds. Yet the discovery of other Kuiper Belt objects forced a redefinition of what counts as a planet, and by 2006 Pluto was demoted to a dwarf planet, forcing an entire generation to relearn what they thought they knew. So when NASA today insists that the massive interstellar object 3 Atlas, expected to pass Earth in December, is just another comet, we must not forget how often its confident declarations have been upended by new evidence. NASA is not deliberately wrong. It is operating within the limits of the data it has, but history proves that the universe consistently forces us to revise what we think we know. Time and again, what was once impossible has become reality. Water on Mars, volcanoes on moons, ice on the moon itself, and even corrections to the age of the cosmos. Each mistake, each correction, is a reminder that human understanding is still in its infancy compared to the mysteries of the universe. And perhaps, as this enormous object, comparable in size to Manhattan and hailing from beyond our solar system, approaches, we are standing on the edge of yet another revelation. To dismiss it outright as just a comet may one day be remembered as yet another example of our arrogance, overlooking the possibility that the cosmos still holds truths stranger, deeper, and more transformative than we can currently comprehend. Since the first sparks of fire lit the darkness of prehistory, humankind has lifted its eyes to the heavens with wonder. Our ancestors, wrapped in animal skins and gathered around ancient flames, looked at the stars and saw more than light. They saw mysteries, destinies, gods, and perhaps others. That yearning has never left us. It is woven into the very fabric of our being, into the stories etched on stone tablets, into the prayers whispered across temples and deserts, into the equations scribbled on blackboards centuries later. For as long as we have existed, one question has burned brighter than all others. Are we alone? Every civilization that has risen and fallen has asked it in their own language. The Babylonians wrote of celestial beings descending from the sky. The Egyptians carved star maps into their tombs. The Greeks dreamed of gods walking the earth, while philosophers speculated about worlds beyond our own. Centuries later, Galileo raised his telescope to the night sky and glimpsed the infinite, moons, planets, and galaxies stretching farther than imagination itself. With each discovery, the silence of the universe grew louder, pressing upon us the unbearable weight of solitude. For what is humanity if all our wars, loves, art, and suffering exist on a single fragile blue sphere, unnoticed in the cosmic ocean? And yet, we dream. We dream because to find a civilization among the stars would be the greatest revelation in the history of our species. Imagine the moment, a signal, faint but undeniable, carrying across light years. Imagine standing together, billions of us, united for the first time not by borders or flags, but by the recognition that life, intelligence, and perhaps even kinship exist beyond Earth. Such a discovery would not merely rewrite science, it would rewrite us. Our religions would tremble, our philosophies would awaken, our art would take on new depth. We would no longer see ourselves as solitary wanderers, but as members of a vast interconnected cosmos. And perhaps deep down, this is why we long for it so desperately. Because in our fragile lives, shadowed by mortality, we crave connection. We want to know that existence is not a lonely accident, that consciousness blooms elsewhere in the great darkness. To encounter another civilization would be to pierce the silence of the void, to hear at last the answer to a question older than time. You are not alone. If that day ever comes, it will be the day humanity changes forever. The greatest event not of a century, not of a millennium, but of all history, the day we meet the other and finally understand ourselves. Since the first sparks of human thought, when our ancestors huddled around fires and stared into the unending darkness of the night sky, there has been a persistent longing, a yearning to know if we are alone in the vast universe. This longing has woven itself into myths, religions, and the very fabric of civilization. The earliest stories of gods descending from the heavens or mysterious beings inhabiting the stars were not just tales of imagination, but reflections of an ancient desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. Humanity has always been driven by questions. Who are we? Why are we here? And is there another intelligence out there who shares this vast stage of existence? The immensity of space, with its billions of galaxies and uncountable stars, both humbles and inspires us. To discover another intelligent civilization would not just satisfy curiosity, it would validate our deepest hopes, confirming that consciousness is not unique to this fragile blue planet. Such a discovery would be nothing less than the most profound event in human history, reshaping philosophy, science, and our understanding of life itself. It would mean that our struggles, triumphs, and fleeting existence are part of a far grander cosmic narrative. Yet woven into this desire is the darker thread of fear. the fear of the unknown. For as much as humanity dreams of finding neighbors among the stars, the prospect carries with it an unsettling terror. The unknown has always haunted us, from the shadows outside primitive shelters to the mysteries of the ocean's depths, and now to the infinite abyss of space. To encounter an alien civilization is to face something wholly beyond our comprehension, and with it the possibility of danger. Would they be benevolent, eager to share wisdom, or indifferent to our existence, sweeping us aside as easily as we step over ants? Would their arrival shatter our most cherished beliefs, leaving religions, politics, and cultural identities in chaos? This duality, the yearning for discovery paired with the dread of annihilation, makes the search for extraterrestrial intelligence one of the most paradoxical quests we have ever embarked upon. It is a search that reflects not only our curiosity but also our deepest vulnerabilities, for it forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge, our fragility, and our place in the cosmic order. In this tension lies the heart of the human condition. We are creatures forever caught between awe and fear, between wonder and caution. The stars represent hope, possibility, and connection, yet they also embody the terrifying vastness of the unknown. Our longing to meet another intelligence is, at its core, a longing to transcend loneliness, to prove that we are not an isolated accident in an indifferent cosmos. But the fear that grips us reminds us of our fragility, of how easily the narrative of our species could be altered or ended by forces beyond our control. To encounter another civilization would be both the ultimate affirmation of human curiosity and the ultimate test of human resilience. It would demand that we confront the deepest philosophical questions. What is the value of our existence if we are not alone? How do we define ourselves in relation to others who may be older, wiser, and infinitely more advanced? The search for alien intelligence, then, is not just about what lies out there. It is also about the truth within us, about our endless drive to seek meaning, our fear of insignificance, and our desperate hope that, somewhere across the stars, another mind looks up at the sky and wonders the same.